as if no one has any training on how to mow, okay? That way we don't skip any of the bases. So hopefully after this brief training, you guys will be able to run the John Deere tractor comfortably. So this is one of our larger tractors for mowing. It is a diesel, a little bit different, okay? So again, it is a diesel. What you're gonna notice is that it has diesel on the cap to keep you from making the mistake of refueling it incorrectly, okay? So it's a little bit like the majority of your mowers. It's a little bit bigger. This one has a belly deck. It also has a rear PTO. Anybody know what a PTO is? It's like a transmission, but for the blades, okay? So we've got the transmission that makes it move, then we've got the transmission that makes it cut. This one has a dual PTO, so it can run the belly deck, which is what mows underneath, and also what runs the PTO back here. There's a gearbox back here, so we've got a machine that we can hook up to it that'll help us till, but is on a larger scale. We don't use that as often. So the three things we're gonna focus on with this training: 1 is safety, okay? 2 is how to get the job done that we're here to do, which is in this case mowing. 3, minimal maintenance. You're not expected to know how to rebuild an engine, but you do need to know how to do some basic maintenance, okay? So again, safety, how to get the job done, maintenance. You can't do one of these things without the other 2. Does everyone understand what that means? You cannot mow without being safe and doing finish out maintenance. If you're not going to be safe, there's no need in mowing. And you can't get the job done if you're not keeping on your maintenance, okay? So those are our 3 things. So safety, first and foremost. Closed-toed shoes are a must. Reason being, this is your brake pedal. A lot of heat comes out of this engine compartment, okay? That means you will get scalded toes. So you've already got closed-toed shoes on, ideally, because you're out here working at the farm. We want to carry that over. You do not have to wear long pants, but you do have to wear the closed-toed shoes. Hearing protection is provided for you. It is not required, however, it is highly recommended. This thing is loud. It makes a whole lot of noise from just stuff juggling around, let alone the mowing blades. So we have the huge headphones. We also have the individual little single-use ones that you crumple up and put in your ear. I highly suggest you use those. Okay? You do not have to have eye protection on while using the mower. Some other safety things: do not mow near other people. This thing, if it catches a rock, can shoot it a good 30 feet. So you want to be careful with where you're mowing. We also don't want to mow around cars, because I personally do not want to buy someone else's windshield. Okay? Lots of other things I would like to use for that money. So we be safe. We need to be safe. We need to be cognizant of what we're mowing around and who's around us. Second, getting the job done. So a few things with the mower before we actually turn it on, make a bunch of racket. Again, we said it's a diesel. That takes special fuel. We'll go over the ins and outs of how to turn it on, how to engage the gears here in just a minute. What we also want to be sure is when we are done with our job, we are doing some basic maintenance. That means we are refilling the tank once it's cool for the next person. So then Professor Strickland can refill the tank in case you guys are out here mowing for a good amount of time. Okay? So we always want to leave it better than what we found it. All right? To go ahead and get started, it is an automatic, so you don't have to worry about driving a stick shift, okay? So that takes half the scary part out of it. It does have a couple different things. It has a low drive, a neutral, and a high drive. So this also translates to the speed. It has a slow and a high drive, okay? This also affects how fast the blades go. So if you just want to poke around and mow with the blades going, you know, fast enough to cut, you can. However, if you've got a lot of space to carry, a lot of space to cut, and you want to do it safely, you can do it at a higher speed. So you've got some options. The second gear that we'll look at on the other side raises and lowers. This is called our belly deck because it's in the belly of the machine. It's got 2 sides to it. It's got an edge side, which is this curved side. Then it has the flap on the other side, which is where all of your grass debris and anything that you hit, keep in mind for safety, blows out the other side, okay? So then we'll also show you some tricks about how to mow a little more effectively to make it easier on you so we don't have clumps of grass everywhere. A couple other things. So we have a parking brake. This guy, every time you park it, needs to be on, okay? Because technically, I don't own this piece of equipment. I don't want anything to happen to it. If I park it, I want to make sure it's not going anywhere. So we always want to engage this parking brake. That's also another safety feature. If you have to get off, the vehicle will cut off unless you engage the parking brake. Okay? This is the roll bar that stays up on it constantly. We never want to take this down. This is in case the piece of equipment rolls over. It will keep the tractor from crushing you, because your point of hitting the ground is going to be here, the nose of the tractor, and whatever side it lands on, not you. Okay, so this always needs to remain up no matter what you're doing. It also has a seat belt. Anytime you are on this, you need to have this seat belt on. If you hit a hole at a decently slow speed, it will jar you out of the seat. It's done it to me. So we always want to make sure we have this seat belt on just in case. So when I change my gears, put the foot on the brake, change it into gear. Now I can use my foot pedals to go forward, backward. Okay? I'm gonna get to where I need to go first. Anytime I go over rocks, I pull my belly deck all the way up so I'm not skidding over rocks. And then I'm gonna turn my blades on. And it's as simple as that. This has the same principle. So over here, the orange, it's got your parking brake, because this one, if you set the parking brake, it will let you get up off the seat. You never want to do that with the blades running, ever, period. The only time I leave one of these on when I get up is to open the gate to the orchard, and even then I'm very careful about setting the parking brake. So when in doubt, shut it all the way down, open your gate, drive in, leave the gate open, close it when you're done. Works the same general principle. So we've got our parking brake, our high and low gear. To raise our belly deck is over here, so it's a little backwards, so you might get confused if you're going between the two apparatuses. And then we've got this accelerator, or no, this is our PTO. It's got the saw blades icon on it, so when we're ready for the blades to start, we're just going to pop that up. Okay? So, same general principle on this guy. Ooh, this does have a seat adjust, because somebody short has been riding this. Okay. So, foot is on the brake, safety first. Foot is on the brake. Okay? Next for this guy, I'm going to crank it. If it acts like it doesn't want to crank, this is one of the vehicles that has a choke on it, which means you push this throttle all the way up for just a brief second. So right now it's all the way up at high. If I go any further, it goes to choke. That's something with the carburetor. Don't even worry about it. Okay? So you're going to turn the key, pop it up to choke. It turns over, you immediately release it. We don't want to hold it and choke. Okay? This one, again, gasoline. And it should say that on the lid. It's got the little gas symbol. Okay? That you pull out of the gasoline tanks. So safety for this guy, we're going to make sure it's full before we get on it. Time you need to stop, just go ahead, shut it all the way down, do what you need to do, then hop back on it. Okay?